Hey everyone, this is Keith Scott from out in Sydney, Australia. I'm one of the voices of Bullwinkle J. Moose. It's time to watch Relentless and Unstoppable. And so give it up for your main hosts, Douglas Kenny and Andy McPhee.
Hey everybody, this is Doug Kenny and welcome to Relentless and Unstoppable. We have another amazing guest coming on the channel today, so please hit like and subscribe. And after this episode, please stay tuned to the RNU channel for more amazing guests. Let's get this on!
Hey everybody, how you doing? Just a quick little share of why I started Relentless and Unstoppable. It was for one very simple reason, because of Doug Kenny. Nothing to do with me at all, zero. I was just coaching Doug, and he took on the coaching and mentoring, and he made all the changes. He took all the suggestions from his parents as well as my coaching, but it was all about Doug, his breakthrough and his weight loss, his willingness to accept that he is dealing with high functioning autism and other issues, but he's never quit, he's never given up. So we did one interview with him to share his story, and then we decided to start interviewing other people. And Doug has now taken over the whole channel, and he does all the interviews, he runs everything. He's just an amazing young man. So RNU was born from simply what an amazing young man Doug is, and his story needed to be shared.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I heard some things, although I don't know for sure if they were 100% true, but were you in a relationship with someone and then he passed away suddenly?
Yes, I was. He's actually the biological father of my oldest daughter. Her name is Evelyn. We were together and he passed away when I was 2 months pregnant. Almost 3 months pregnant, I believe, actually. And so that was a very, I guess that was what changed my life completely. Apart from finding out that I was pregnant, I have to change my whole lifestyle, everything, because I have to be a role model now, a kid's something so important, so serious that, well, at least for me, I took it very seriously. So the drinking, I used to drink a lot and like smoke a lot. I cut it off immediately once I knew I was pregnant. Um, but then, yeah, he passed away. So that kind of put me in a very dark place for a while, probably most of my pregnancy. I felt really depressed, very emotional, and although I was surrounded by so many people, and I had a lot of support, I had my family and his family and friends. I just felt very lonely, and it was really hard to get through, but I got through it. And now I have a beautiful daughter, and she'll be 5 in October. So I'm very blessed for everything that happened. And sometimes in those moments you don't understand why these things are happening, but at the end of the day, only God knows, and He always has a plan. So I understand and I trust in Him that things happen for a reason, and I'm in a good place right now. And, he had a lot of struggles too, so I know that he's probably in a better place too.
Yeah. One thing that I won't understand, what happened to Carlos? That was really shocking.
Oh, yeah,
You
never knew like the whole thing, but it was very sad. And actually, when that happened, it brought me back to, we had some sort of assembly in school. I don't know if you were there for it or not. And it was a guy who, I think he didn't have like any arms or any legs. And he was talking about
Nick
his life.
Vujicic. Nick Vujicic.
Yeah, and I remember and I always remember this. And he pointed, like, he was just pointing out through the crowd, and he said, "It's gonna be one of you guys." Because he was talking about, like, death is unpredictable. It just happens. And I clearly remember him saying, "It's going to be one of you guys. Like, whether we like it or not, it's gonna be one of us." Because that's life, people die. And when that happened, for some reason, I got a flashback to that moment. And it was just very sad. Like, I mean, that just really sucks.
Yeah, I think that was a year, like maybe a year or maybe a few months before I left. But interestingly enough, I encountered Nick again at a church that I went to in Arizona and got to shake his toes that he has.
Yeah.
He's very impressive, but yeah, I just that was really shocking. I did not know that Carlos was suffering.
Hmm. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, if I'm being honest, I during those moments where I went through those things, I had many thoughts of many different things. My way to get out of all of this was to find God. A lot of people that knew me back then know that I'm not the same person that I was back then because I love to party, drink, smoke, and do all of these things that to me were fulfilling, but they really were not fulfilling at all. And at the end of the day, when all the parties were gone and everything, I would always find myself alone. All the friends were gone. All the people who want to be around you in those moments when you're having fun, um they were all gone, and so I always had this emptiness inside of me. But definitely when I had my daughter, that changed my life completely and it filled a lot of it. But I still had that void because of like losing Michael. His name was Michael, so losing him, I still had that void, and it was really hard. But the closer I got to God, the more filled that void got. And then yeah, so I for me personally, turning to Jesus and finding God is what made me come out of a lot of so many different things that I've been through, and it filled those voids. So I'm very blessed and very grateful that I met people who were in the church and that they led me to where I am now.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, God is the one that can fill that hole in your heart. And he certainly did for me when I went through some bad stuff.
Yeah.
I got a bipolar type 2 diagnosis a couple years ago, and I've been rocking things in spite of it. It's not really affecting me anymore. And without that, it wouldn't have been without God.
Yeah, definitely. He can for sure deliver you from all the things that you think are impossible. They're impossible to us, but they're not impossible to God. And that's, I feel like whether people like it or not, God is really truly the way out. And I'm
Yeah.
blessed that I was able to get on his path. So, yeah.
Yeah, I should mention that I was bullied for a number of years by a relative for pretty much a lot of my upbringing. And I dealt with some trauma in the years afterwards that over time I overcame, and
Yeah.
it was just the other day actually that I finally forgave the relative. And I said a prayer to God and just told him straight up, the devil lost in this case. I'm not going to let hate take over my heart, and he's failed.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think forgiveness is a really big thing. And I had a lot of unforgiveness within myself as well, and it really takes a toll on you. You think it's taking a toll on the other person that you can't forgive, but it takes a toll on you. So I think definitely forgiveness is something that everyone should work on, and try to really work on it, and you find God so you can do that, because it's not easy. And at the end of the day, we're still human, so we're gonna do our human ways, but God truly changes those things from you and helps you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and like see how good it is for you to forgive others on you and then on them. It makes, I don't know, it just makes things better. But I'm glad that you were able to forgive them.
Gee, that's all we have for Relentless and Unstoppable. So tune into the next episode to hear more amazing stories from amazing guests. This is Keith Scott from Sydney, Australia, saying so long, and I'm smarter than the average bear. Gee.